Hello, welcome to another in the series of the Ealing Library's Local History YouTube videos. My name is Dr. Jonathan Oates, I'm the archivist, and today we're standing outside the back of what used to be called the Hoover Building. It's now Tesco's. The Hoover Building was built between 1931 and 1935 by Wallace, Gilbert and Partners. It's a very large Art Deco style building with lots of very interesting white and red and other colour details. It's very well worth a visit. You probably have been driven past here on the A40, noticed the building, but it is well worth stopping here because there's a very good car park behind it because it's now a supermarket. However, it wasn't built as a supermarket, but it was built as a factory to make the Hoover's vacuum cleaners. In the 1930s, vacuum cleaners were a new thing, and they were particularly important because at that time, less and less people were working as servants in domestic service, but houses still needed to be cleaned. So what was for a busy housewife to do? Well, to buy a vacuum cleaner and save yourself the work of either yourself or having to hire a domestic cleaner. So in the 1930s, there were about 600 people working in this factory. It was a model employer. There were lots of staff, social facilities, canteens and clubs and so forth. So it was a good place to work. The reason it was built here was because it was on the new road, the A40 from London to Buckinghamshire. And many factories were being built on this road at that time. Sanderson's was another factory that was also built on this road in the 1930s as well. Because in the 1930s, around London, it was boom time for the economy, unlike other parts of the UK. Lots of people in employment, lots of extra factories being built, lots of houses being built. However, in 1939, with the advent of World War II, the Hoover company stopped making Hoover vacuum cleaners, but started to make products for the war effort, in particular parts for armoured cars, parts for aircraft, for the RAF, and lots of other military uses. The building itself, as you can see, it was a white building, but during World War II, it was painted green and black and camouflage colours, so it was less obviously a target for the German Luftwaffe. The factory also had its own home guard unit, which drilled with weapons and military equipment. Also in World War II, unfortunately, one of the employees of the factory was a man called Lionel Rupert Watson, who lived in Goring Way, Greenford, incidentally in the house next door to the one I used to live in. And he worked here, but in his spare time, he was bigamously married to a woman who was married to someone else. And even worse, he poisoned her and her daughter with cyanide and buried them in his back garden in Greenford. At the same time, he was having an affair with a young woman who also worked with him in the Hoover Building. Fortunately, his crimes were discovered and he was hanged. You may well imagine that this story was not included in the book that the Hoover Company made after World War II, which stressed the efficiency of its workforce in making parts to help win World War II. After World War II, the architectural critic Nicholas Pevsner, in his book about buildings of Middlesex, was very critical about the Hoover Building. He called it brash, modernist and offensive. More recent critics are a lot more favourable about the building, seeing it as a great example of Art Deco industrial building. Indeed, the building itself appeared in 2 episodes of the 1989 TV series Agatha Christie's Poirot, starring David Suchet. In one of the episodes, titled The Dream, you can see outside shots of the building, and in another episode in the same series, The King of Clubs, you can also see the building as well. So if you're a fan of Hercule Poirot and you like Art Deco, then do tune into these episodes. In 1982, the factory closed down, it relocated, and the building stood empty for several years. In the 1990s, it was purchased by the supermarket chain Tesco's, and this is what the building is used for today. You can see it on the A40 as you're driving along, but if you're a supermarket user, you'll also know the building as well. Please remember to like this video, to subscribe to the channel, and to write any comments you have down below. Thank you for watching.